Hello and welcome to Adding Charts with IronSpeed Designer. My name is Michael Weiss and I'm Principal of Ocasio Systems Development and an IronSpeed MVP. In this video, we will explore adding charts to your project using IronSpeed. We'll start out with a simple application built over the Microsoft Access Southwind sample database. And IronSpeed Designer makes adding charts to your project as easy as dragging and dropping and setting a few properties. We'll take a look at how to add charts in two different locations in a show table page in this video. First, we'll look at adding a chart above a table control. Then we'll walk through how to add a chart to a row in a table control, and we'll see how IronSpeed automatically binds that chart to the primary key of the table control row, thereby filtering the chart for that primary key value. Okay, let's get started. First, let's open up our sample application. Okay, now we have IronSpeed open, and we'll open up our sample application, which is called Southwind Charts Demo. And again, it's just built over the Southwind Access database. And we have a Show Sales Rep table page. And we will navigate to the top of the page, and let's insert a row above, and we need to put a little padding here, so we'll add a style attribute, and we'll just like 15 pixels padding or spacing between our chart and the top of our table control. There we go. Okay, now you can see under the Charts tab in the toolbox that we have IronSpeed gives us choice of count of, sum of, and average of charts. And we're going to use the sum of here, and we're going to sum by amount. So we drag that over and we drop it in our row and our cell above our table control, and it opens up the chart wizard for us. And we'll take a look at some of the properties and things that we can set and adjustments we can make in here and selections. First of all, we're going to have the y-axis field is going to be the amount field from order details. And the x-axis, in this case, is going to be sales rep. And the field that we're going to use is last name. And since that's not a date field, then we don't use anything in the label or interval here. Click Next. We can go over to the Select the Chart options. The first one, we can see we have the various titles, the chart title, the x-axis title, and the y-axis, and we can turn these off or on. So we remove those. We have no labels or titles. We can add in the y-axis, the x-axis, and we'll put the chart title back up there. IronSpeed allows us to set the height and the width of the chart control, so we'll make this 500 pixels high, and we'll make it 800 wide. Now under colors, we can use select to use a palette, and there's various color schemes here where each bar in our histogram here is a different color, or you can select to use a single color, and you can experiment with some of those, but we're going to use a palette because we're going to have more than one bar, so we'll have them all different colors here. On the y-axis, we can select to show the absolute value. In this case, it's dollar amount of sales, or as a percentage. We're going to use absolute value. And the show value on the edge, if we leave that unchecked, it will have the values only on the grid lines here for the y-axis. If we check that, it'll put the actual value, or the actual value of each bar above the bar itself. And on show label, we can have it on the x-axis. So we have salesperson last name across the bottom here. Or we could put it inside the bar. There. We're going to leave it on the x-axis. And we're going to show our value. The x-axis label angle, we can adjust that. And we could put in 20. You can see they're not as steeply angled there. We can go back to 50. And under records to show, we can select to show all records. Or we can select to show a certain number of the top records, in this case 5. We can make that 2. Could go to 7. Whatever we need. We're going to use 5. The include remainder, if you check that checkbox, IronSpeed will sum everything outside of the top 5 and we'll put that in an aggregate bar here on our chart called Others. We're not going to include that at this point. Under the order by cause here, we can check to have smallest first or largest first. So we'll go with largest first. If we click Next, we can go over to the Joins section of the wizard, and we can see that IronSpeed has already selected the path and the tables and the joins between them for our chart to produce the query for the data source for our chart. You can choose to change the path, in which case you can select your own path. In this case, we'll go back to reset the path back to what IronSpeed has determined through the database schema and the data access layer to be the proper joins for this query. So let's click Finish. And let's go up here and do a rebuild all real quick. Okay. And let's run our page in the browser and see what our chart looks like. As soon as it loads up here, and there we go. Now we can see that down below we have our table control here, and up above we have our chart control, and they're ordered largest to greatest to least, or largest to smallest, and by our various top 5 salespeople here. Now let's go back and let's take a look at a couple of properties first before we go forward. One of which is, let's look at the chart title. And we can see that it's set to amount space X, okay, last amount, so amount by last name. Let's change that. And let's make that read top 5 sales by salesperson. Now under the index, that is the x-axis. You can see that that is set to last name, but we'll make that salesperson. And the y-axis is the value, and that's amount. Let's make that total sales. And we'll save that and rebuild that real quick. And take a look at our changes there. Okay. Now, let's come up and refresh our page here. And let's take a look at our edits that we just made. And we can see now our chart title is top 5 sales by salesperson. And we have total sales for our y-axis title. or label, and salesperson below here. Okay, now let's take a look at adding a chart into the table control row. So we'll go back to IronSpeed and design view, and let's drill down into the fields row of our sales rep table control table. And we'll scroll over and find a blank column here. And this one, we want to do the sum of product ID. And again, the chart wizard brings up and gives us a selection of different types of charts to choose from. And we're going to have, here is going to be amount under order details. And we're going to bring in the products for the x-axis table, and we want product name on that one. And the options, we can see that IronSpeed has gone back to 300 by 300 on the height and width, because it's detected that we're now in the table control row control class. So it's making a smaller chart for us. And we'll leave the colors as the default colors. And the y-axis will be the absolute value, and we're not going to show the values above the bars themselves. So we'll just show the value on the axis. We'll leave everything else the same. We'll show the top 5, and we'll order as smallest first in this case. So clicking next, we can see that IronSpeed has the joins in place for us. So we'll click Finish, and we'll build this page. And then we'll take a look at it in the browser. Okay. We'll come back and let's refresh our browser here. And as soon as it loads up, we'll take a look at our charts in our rows. Okay, so now we still have our chart above, and we have our charts in our rows. And we can see that for Nancy Anderson, these are the top 5 products and the gross sales. And we'll scroll down to Stephen Buchanan, and we can see that the products are different and the amounts are different. And the same with Laura Callahan. Different products, different amounts, and so on. So we can see that IronSpeed has automatically detected that we are in the row control class by where we placed our chart, and they've picked up the primary key for the row, which in this case would be sales person ID or sales ID, and they're filtering that, added a filter for the chart based on that primary key value. So we're just getting results here in our row control chart for the person in that row. Okay, so once again, we could come back and we could change some of the, we could make this by product for the chart title. And on the x-axis, we could make it product. And on the y-axis, we could make it, let's make it gross sales. On that, and we'll do a rebuild. And then we'll come back in, and again, we'll refresh our chart or our page. And we can see now that we now have amount by product and gross sales and product down here. And there we have that. And so that is all there is to it. IronSpeed makes it very flexible and easy to add charts, and without the need of a third-party chart control, you can add very professional looking charts to your application. And that has been Adding Charts with IronSpeed Designer. Again, my name is Michael Weiss with Ocasio Systems Development and IronSpeed MVP. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me at michael@ocasiosystems.com. Good luck with your project and enjoy adding charts to your IronSpeed project. Thank you.